Hey everyone, a nerd named Mark here with a new video, something new. I am very excited right now. I just finished watching the season premiere of Chucky. That's right, we're getting we have a Chucky TV show. It's only 8 episodes, but I'm gonna take what I can get. I'm a huge, obviously a horror fan, but I'm a huge Child's Play fan and Chucky fan. And when I heard about the show, I was worried at first because we just got that 2019 or 20 like reboot, which was it was what it was. It happened. Okay, we're gonna move on from it. But then, you know, hearing that we're getting a TV series, but it was a continuation of Curse and Cult of Chucky, and we were getting the return of Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky, which was something that was really needed in the 2019 one. Besides some of the other things, I didn't mind the tech side of it, like Bluetooth apps and connection. That was cool for a modern spin. But man, Brad is the voice of Chucky. And it was kind of weird to actually see a Chucky movie that they had no Jennifer Tilly, even though we know she wasn't in the first three. It was when it was Child's Play. Like, we're not gonna, yeah, it's whatever. I consider Child's Play and Chucky two different things now. So this is like I said, it's only gonna be an 8 episode show. The first episode is actually on YouTube right now for free to watch. It's from USA and SyFy. So you can actually go watch it right now, which is really cool. If I remember in the edit, I'll actually post the link to the full episode in the description and the pinned comment. But man, oh, the casting was so good. Right off the bat, I'm gonna say this: Devin Sawa in this, so good. It took me getting a portion of the episode to realize that he was playing Jake, the main character's dad, and his own twin brother. And because I was just like, I know Devin Sawa's on the show, and like the goatee, the way his mannerisms, the way he talked, I was like, wait, that's Devin Sawa. I was like, I'm a huge fan of him. If you've listened to my podcast, I've done my whole Final Destination thing. You know my thoughts on it. But this is just there were so many references in this. I mean, we had Exorcist reference in one of the kills. We've had some references to Child's Play 1, Child's Play 2, with, teacher locking up Chucky. Like, there's going to be some minor spoilers in this, but I'm not going to spoil a lot. But there was just so many references to the first two films, minor reference to the third. The fact that this is a continuation post Cult of Chucky. I was getting some vibes from Curse as well, because if you've ever seen Curse of Chucky, there was a little girl that got the Chucky doll. There was a scene during a talent show where Chucky was pseudo turned into a ventriloquist dummy and roasting some people and letting out some secrets. Um, and the way the little girl was looking at Chucky, I was like, is that a nod to Curse of Chucky? Because this does take place after Cult of Chucky. Even uh, Alex Vincent returned in a phone call, at least, as Andy, the original Andy. For those of us who love Child's Play, that was a nice nod. He also was in Cult of Chucky. I really suggest checking those out, honestly. Like, the tone of Curse and Cult of Chucky kind of diminished a lot of the humor and weird, crude tongue in cheek, and kind of brought it back to the horror uh, genre, more solid and less comedy. But it did have its moments still where there were some jokes and but it was like menacing humor. Uh, so I'm really curious though, because I mean, obviously Jennifer Tilly is gonna be there at some point. I believe Nika Pierce also, who was in Curse and Cult of Chucky, played by Fiona Dourif, who is the daughter of Brad, voice of Chucky. So that's like really cool. I didn't realize that until I started watching Cult of Chucky. Uh, and I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay then. I'm liking that this is like kind of like a family thing. Uh, but my favorite part of this whole show right now is it's not dragging out. I thought we were gonna get like a show where it's like, okay, it's the first maybe episode or so, it'll be like that first person POV, like murders, but they don't show Chucky murdering yet. They don't show him. Like, no. Within the first 10 minutes, he's already got his home with Jake and he's, up there. And I was like, that's really cool. Uh I remember reading the premise for the show and wasn't really sure how I felt about it, just from the standpoint of maybe there would be too much pandering or tiptoeing around certain subjects because, you know, the teenage boy Jake, who has now possession of Chucky, they were bringing up, that his sexuality and bullying and this and that. And my worry was they were just gonna tiptoe around things and kind of sugarcoat and like fluff the show up a bit to make it not so Chucky and horror, like, because there's a lot of with stuff like that right now. There's a lot of sensitivity revolving how it's portrayed on in television and films, but this flat out just showed realistic style of how bullying is and everything else. And I was like, okay, I appreciate that this is being written the way it is, and it caught me off guard because like all the acting has been great. We didn't get a lot of not a lot of murder, but the cool thing is them actually uh, diving into the past of Charles, because it does take place in Hackensack, New Jersey, which is where his town that he's from. And they even brought up, they showed newspaper articles and this and that. And I was like, oh, I like this. So we're not just getting a continuation, because we never really got a lot of the upbringing and childhood of Charles. Any of the flashbacks from the original Child's Plays and this and that was like him running from the cops, going into a toy store, getting shot, putting his soul into a good guy doll, and ta-da. And then they did one flashback one time where he was, kidnapped someone, was obsessed with them. So, yeah. But man, I don't want to I don't want to spoil a lot of stuff. I really don't, because I really want this to get a lot of views. I really want to let people check this show out, because it's 8 episodes. I'm hoping this revitalizes it, because after Curse and Cult of Chucky, I was like, this could be a whole new like franchise. So you got Child's Play 1 through 3, then you got Bride, Seed, all those other Chucky ones in their own, and then you have Curse and Cult starting like another franchise within it, like a new arc, so to speak. So that's what I'm hoping. Like this gets us more Child's Play content, because I'm all for it. I mean, I got my Toonie Terrors, Chucky and Tiffany right here. This is my newest acquisition besides the Jaws, because up on the shelf you can see that's my NECA Toonie Terror set. I'm missing one, and then I have the complete set, and then 2 more just came out, so obviously that's going to be another video for another time. But this was just, I there's a lot of cool elements in this show so far. You got the kid who has his own like murder crime podcast, just strictly involving Hackensack, New Jersey, because they even did a quick little thing when they said like murder was on the rise. There's been 11 murders recently. All of a sudden now the doll's um at a yard sale. Uh, Jake picks him up, and she's like, "Oh, it's vintage, so it's $20." He's like, "No, it's retro." And she's like, "What's the difference?" And he's like, "About $10," which I thought was witty and funny. And so, picks up the doll, pays the 10, walks away, and then she's looking. She's like, "Oh, the butcher knife is missing," because the doll was right next to a knife set. And I'm like, "Okay, where?" So that's what I knew instantly. And this was in the beginning of the film, or show. So I knew instantly, like, okay, this is not going to be a slow, methodical pace show. And they kind of really like I missed Brad doing the voice of Chucky. Even though 2019 was when Cult of Chucky came out. It's been 2 years, but that's a long time. Or no, Cult of Chucky was 2017. The remake was in 2019. So it's been 4 years since we've got some Brad as the voice of Chucky, and I missed that iconic voice. I think from a horror standpoint, Brad Dourif's Chucky is probably one of the most iconic, besides the raspy voice of the ghost face from Scream. I mean, Freddy Krueger has one too, but it's like not a lot of killers get a lot of talking, like Jigsaw from Saw, etc. So I missed. I'm waiting for the cackling laugh. I'm waiting for that menacing laugh, and you know, my favorite part was the humor. The humor wasn't so crude now. It's very like witty zingers here and there, and I'm like, this works out for me. Now, not everything is great. One of the deaths, the major death of this episode, um, involved electrocution with Chucky, which was the Exorcist reference, downing a whole bunch of whiskey and throwing it up. At least I got the Exorcist vibes, like as a reference from that, just from how much projectile vomit was coming out. I hate vomiting, so for me, I'm just like, I don't really. I just hate vomit. I really do. It's just, ugh. but it involves, a character getting electrocuted, and just something about like that kind of got a belly laugh out of me because it just didn't look gruesome enough. Like for an electrocution, it seemed almost kind of hokey, but still, we got one murder shown, one jokingly mentioned after. I am curious of all the character development that's next now, when they introduce the cousin who's a bully, but, also, I don't know, something's up with him because his girlfriend's more of a bully and kind of has him whipped, and she's like the popular girl, and she gets embarrassed at the freaking talent show. So there's a lot of stuff that, they're setting up. I'm curious for episode 2. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna put all the episodes on YouTube. Honestly, I know the first one was as a special. I don't know, but it is SyFy USA. It's definitely worth checking out. If you've checked it out, let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious as to other people's thoughts. I've already told a few of my friends, go check it out right now. You got to watch this. It's really good. So hopefully they do. Hopefully you guys as well. I'm going to be covering the show every week. So other than this one, the next 7 weeks, you're going to get a Chucky episode every week on top of more horror stuff. Because if you listen to a Nerd Named Mark podcast, it is October. The whole month, all episodes are horror related. I got some specials going up, an interview, some reviews, all on that. So just type a Nerd Named Mark podcast in your podcasting listening devices or apps, and it'll pop up. With that being said, that's it. I'm so excited for the show. Like, I want more. I can't wait for the second episode to drop on the 19th. But that's it. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Wow, next episode. I meant next video, okay? I'm really excited, honestly, and I have a lot going on. So, yeah, that's it for the video.